Welcome to Foam to Fortune, the ultimate podcast for spray foam insulation industry. Whether you're a contractor aiming to take your business to the next level or a vendor bringing innovation to the market, this is the place where success stories are shared, insider tips are uncovered, and the industry secrets are revealed. Join us as we dive into the journeys of the spray foam pros who turn their dreams into thriving empires and discover tools and strategies to build your own path to fortune. Ready to elevate your spray foam game? Let's get started. Foam to Fortune, where innovation meets inspiration. What's up, guys? Welcome to the Foam to Fortune podcast, episode number 27, with our Canadian friend from up there in Alberta, Lane Mizera from Total Site Services. What's up, Lane? How are you?
Really good.
Good to hear, man. Good to hear. Well, welcome to the show. It's always good to have our friends from Canada on the show because I think you guys give a little bit of a different insight than what we have going on down here in the States. Why don't you start off with sharing a little bit about yourself and kind of how you got started in the spray foam business?
Sure. So my name's Lane Mizera. We started in 2011, I guess. For kind of what you can see in the background, we bought a bit of a wreck of a house, bought a hoarder's house. So my wife Stacy and I decided that was what was in our budget. Ended up doing a full reno. We hauled 45,000 pounds of stuff out of the house before we even got rolling.
Oh my gosh!
Not garbage, but just stuff. They were pack rats. She saved everything. At the same time, I come from a farming background, so at the same time, my dad was building his. We call it the Barbie Dream Shop. Girls want a Barbie Dream house, boys want a Barbie Dream Shop. So he was putting up 10,000 square feet at our farm. Between the two projects, it made sense to try to do as much as we could ourselves. So we ended up buying a spray foam rig. I bought a 16-foot trailer with a bunch of junk in it, an old foam cat. Came out of Texas originally. A big gas compressor. It was a short power rig. Knew nothing about nothing. Took it to a few guys and they go, it's junk. Ended up, that's how I found Mr. Gord McGinnis. He was advertising. He built spray foam rigs and took my little hot rod here and said, here, make foam. This is what we're doing.
Okay.
So you bring your checkbook and we'll go from there.
Yeah.
So that's how we kind of got into it. So he put us a new machine, new hose, new gun. Kind of gave us a crash tutorial. We ended up doing a certification class through a spin-off of Elastichem. There was a private label through Winrock or FBM. Went through the course because you had to be certified by chemical. Was more confused after the course than prior. Because it's a lot going into it. If you knew nothing about spray foam, it's a lot going in. And that was it. We kind of practiced on our own projects, and then it was lots of word of mouth. Could you come spray my this? Could you come spray that? Could you? To 2025, we're still the same way. You Google us, and good luck finding us. We don't advertise. We don't do any of that. Most of our work is word of mouth. We've diversified in some bigger logistical nightmares for most that most don't want to tackle. So we kind of I thrive on that logistical nightmare.
Okay.
And then having a pretty strong mechanical background, Aptitude has done well for me. Going to these remote places where you can't get parts, it's fly in, fly out only. There's no cell service. You have to be prepared. So yeah, that's how we got into it anyway.
Cool. And so, obviously you guys started with this rig you didn't know was not functionable from Texas. Gord gets it up and going for you. That was about 2011-ish.
Yeah, 2011. And
you guys still running the same rig? Do you guys have multiple rigs now? Like, what's the journey been like?
We ran that. So the first rig we kept, I bought a trailer and an air compressor and a bunch of junk. I took it to Gord and he opened the back doors and kicked it all out the door. It was all toast, locked up, solid, wasn't worth fixing. So he put us in a brand new 825, 150 feet of hose, a new AP gun, kind of gave us, again, the crash course on it. Way you go. And we ran that rig till 2015. And then my full-time job was coming to an end. They were, I was in the coal industry, so they were phasing out coal power here. So my mining background was Fort McMurray, the oil sands, and I've been there, done that, got the postcard. Wasn't interested in going back. So my wife, I took her advice, not always, but sometimes. She goes, "Well, you stay pretty busy with this spray foam thing. Maybe just to pursue that." I said, "Well, if we're going to do that, we have to go to a commercial rig." So I ended up in 2016. I bought a brand new 32-foot gooseneck, dropped it off at Gord. A little bit. First picture he sent with a big hole in the side of it. Took all the equipment out of the little rig, put that in the new gooseneck, put a genset in it, rotary compressor, full breathing air panel. Kind of went to a full professional rig. That was 2016. 2017, January of 2018, we commenced building a box truck because we were busy enough. We had bought a blow-in unit. We had bought 2 removal vacuums. I was still working a full-time job. We had staff, so it was busy.
Yeah.
That would have been 18. 2019, we had a pretty rough year. Everything just slowed right down. So we got rid of some staff, got rid of some equipment, went down to myself and a helper. 2019, we had somebody come to the yard and steal my truck and trailer unit. They ended up writing off my spray foam trailer. They did $68,000 worth of damage in 5.5 hours.
Wow.
And nothing. They opened the chemical up, so they splashed ISO through the whole rig. They tipped the drum of ISO over. They cracked the hoses. They had dusted out the genset, dusted out the compressor. Just.
Do you think this was better?
No. Somebody looking for toys. The trailer wasn't deckled, but the truck was.
Okay.
So they stole it, and then what do we do with this junk? So they stole hand tools and miscellaneous stuff.
Yeah.
So we went back to just the box truck. So I had a second rig. Things were quiet, so it was okay. And then COVID hit 2020, and it was, what do we do? And COVID was phenomenal, actually. A good friend of mine, he had some medical issues, so he sent a bunch of work our way first part of COVID. We ended up building a second rig right in 2020 and threw together a 550 Ford box truck. And it was literally thrown together, kicked out the door and put to work. And then by 2022, we'd outgrown that one. So I sold that 550. I bought an 07 Freightliner. I put an H40 in that one. Basically, I built a twin to my International. So I've got 2 H40 rigs. Both have the Boss 2-gun system on them. Both run 250 feet of hose. 40 kilowatt jets, rotary compressors, kind of the best of the best you can get. I like old stuff because I can fix old stuff. And then we built 1, 2, 3. I've got 3 portable units. So I've got an H40 portable on a skid that I can get on an aircraft. I've got an E30, same thing in a crate. And then I've got a E30i. It's actually way up in the North Pole right now.
Wow.
Sitting on a mine project. And that was, we had a call come in for a job that, we need equipment now. Through Gord and some other guys, we found this E30 or EXP2i unit down in southern Saskatchewan. Guy was selling it for a reasonable price. So I came home from a northern job, was home for 9 hours, jumped in my truck, hooked onto my flat deck trailer, drove 13 hours to get that machine, turned and burned, came back. Gord and I kind of went through it quickly. We blasted a bunch of foam through it, kind of got the uglies out of it, flushed it out quick, and then threw it on a transport and sent it up to up to Nunavut. And it's been there ever since. Yeah.
Wow.
Now we're building a third box truck. So I'll have a 3-ton, a 5-ton, and now I'm building a tandem axle box truck.
Wow.
And everything's H40s. So I got four H40s now.
Man, you've gone through some rigs in the period of time, upgrading, obviously lots of challenges. Is there a challenge that sticks out, Lane, for you, like along the way that really was one of the biggest challenges for you guys to overcome?
People was probably the hardest one. Between reading customers and staff, we went through lots of staff, good, bad. We had some, long-term staff, and they were great, and we just, kind of outgrew each other. There's lots of guys that, they've worked for me on and off over the years, and, we have just like friends. We have our tiffs and our siblings, Cam Johnson, he's one that comes to the top of mind. We're almost like brothers. We have a little tiff, and he pisses me off, or I piss him off, and we go our separate way, and we don't talk, and then kiss and make up. And it's a good system. It's a good fit. How to run a business, that was probably the biggest struggle. Whatever comes in the check, that's not all yours. You don't get to keep all that. You get to keep about this much of it, and everything else has to go into cost of operating, insurance, workers' comp, so on and so forth, right? So kind of, you can't do it for wages. There's lots of guys out there that try to do it for wages. You can't. You'll go broke. So that's probably our biggest struggles. Yeah,
I mean, obviously, being a new business owner is always difficult, and learning the quirks of running a business. But people, we experienced those challenges, and I've had several guests on here that said, man, once I was able to figure out, I don't want to say figure out people, but figure out how to kind of be a better manager of people, that their business was able to really take off, and also realize like how to talk to people as well, and not be able to be as short and things like that, that all of us can be a little bit, short fused. So I know people are, that's probably the biggest challenge in most people's businesses. So don't beat yourself up.
Well, that was the good part, is we had a small business growing up. So my mom and dad ran a small business. We ran a farm. So I had that communication, people skills for the most part, and a sense of humor, and, how to read people a little bit. And then in my mining background, I was a supervisor. So I ran a crew of 72 guys. So I had that crew leader background already. So to run people, the hard part is I want to be everybody's buddy. I hate being the bad guy, but like Gord, he teases me all the time because he's literally that side of the fence from me. I can throw a rock at him now. Anyways, but he teases me. He goes, "You're kind of getting grumpy in your joint." It's just, I think I'm getting worse. Is your tolerance for bullshit is getting pretty thin, right?
Yeah, cut it out, right?
Like a cancer. Yeah.
I resonate with that a little bit, as I feel like the older we get, I start hearing my grandfather in my head, and I'm like, why is it I sound like him? Why is it do I sound like just a cranky old man? Get off my lawn, type of stuff. So you're not alone, man. Totally not alone. So Canada has some really unique weather up there. You guys, like, compared to what we get down here in the States, I swear you guys, I'll see my Canadian friends posting on how cold it is up there, and I'm just absolutely flabbergasted. I'm like, holy crap, like you guys are functioning in that. So I know Alberta has, a crazy amount of weather. Like, does that really shape the way that you guys do your installation projects compared to like other regions in Alberta? You know what's not genius? Staying up late nights till midnight editing a spreadsheet. Today's episode is brought to you by FoamBid.
This brand new app is designed to save you time and protect your profits. Instead of wasting time crunching numbers, you can deliver the right bid right on the job site. This means more jobs won and less late nights. Sign up now for the app that's launching soon at foambid.co/beta.
All across Canada, we'll see some pretty extreme winter. Temperature, minus 40 is minus 40. Doesn't matter which side of the scale you're on, Celsius, Fahrenheit. Minus 40 is miserable cold. And I laugh at guys like, Chas Costa. And, I'll freeze to death.
Yeah.
But he was whining about, I don't know, it was 60 degrees out. I went, like, that's speedo weather. That's
yeah.
It's fat working weather. What are you crying about?
He's down in Texas.
He's down in Texas, but you come up here at minus 57. It's nasty. And again, getting smarter in my old age, we try not to schedule anything when it's that cold. Trucks won't run, chemical won't spray. You're fighting way too hard to make something happen unless it's a dire emergency. So we try to get the guys time off and plan around that. January we're having shop days and some maintenance stuff, and we're not doing shit.
Yeah. How many months out of the year is that for you guys?
Weeks. I think last year we saw maybe 3 weeks that sat kind of that negative 30 range.
Yeah.
So it's
nothing you guys can really plan on. It doesn't seem like, sorry, Lane, talk about it. It doesn't sound like you guys are able to plan on it really, except you just watch the Weather Channel and you kind of just see like, okay, there's this cold front moving in. It's going to be, then you plan. So it's not like you guys always say January, we're going to be shop days.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, we kind of try and book around it and plan around it. Last year, January, February. January was cold. February wasn't bad. Right before SPFA. And that was, we went from, sitting right around 15 degrees Fahrenheit and it tanked to, negative 20.
Yeah.
Overnight. So we were in the middle of a project and, we tried our best, but you just can't bang enough heat into it. And the worst part was we were so close to finishing. It started to condensate and build ice. That was it. It sat for 3 weeks before we come back and finish it before the weather straightened out enough we get warm. And so that was it. We buggered off to SPFA and had a blast.
You guys went and got warm down in Daytona.
Exactly.
Like Canada froze.
Yep.
Well, that's perfect timing for you guys.
Yeah, it worked out. Yep.
Yeah. So does it affect, besides just the schedule, not being able to spray? Obviously you're talking about these cold temperatures. You mentioned the North Pole. Sounds like you guys have a rig up there getting ready to spray Santa's workshop. But is it any different than like, parts of the state, or is it just really a preparation and a planning piece?
It's all preparation and planning. So we struggled with that for years, is one, how to heat rigs. I should have coined that idea. Now I see everybody runs diesel heaters, and that was my first big gooseneck. I threw a diesel heater into that. After we fought with electric heaters, had some buddies had rigs burned down with 220 construction heaters. We didn't have a shop at the time, so yeah, we everything was out in the snowbank. So it's how do you keep these creatures warm? And that was, the best we found was those diesel heaters. So I ran a glycol heater on the genset, and then the glycol heater on the truck, and then an air heater in the rigs. So all the rigs have one for the most part. Because even sitting on a job site, if you're there for 8 hours and that truck is shut off, that engine is cold. If it's minus 20 out, we can still spray.
Yeah.
But you go to ask that big diesel engine to fire up at the end of the day, and it's not really impressed with you. But at least, as you're wrapping up, shutting down, you go hit the button, the S-bar fires up, brings that little engine to operating temperature. Same thing with the generators. I've run one on a couple of my generators now. Here, we're not supposed to run down the highway with gensets running.
Not supposed to. We'll just say that what's talked about on this show can stay on the show.
Exactly. Yeah. So that was our workaround to that was it's just on a toggle switch, hit the switch, heater fires up, brings it right to operating temperature. You get to the job site, you hit the button, it'll fire. Like on some of the gen sets, I've had companies that I've gone to help or coach or whatever you want to call it, with a Morris 4040, that air compressor is running. Well, you can't bop that down the road. That rotary compressor will not take that. Oh no, we do it all the time. Well, that's why you have all the issues that you have. Your dryers are toast, your compressor's on its last leg. It's just not designed to do that. But
you guys run any type of like battery heaters up there? I know when I was a kid, we actually would plug our cars in. I grew up in Montana, and so we'd have some cold fronts that would roll through, and negative 70 below with the wind chill and stuff like that. And then we'd run an extension cord from the house to a battery. I don't even know, like, this seems crazy to me now. I don't even know if this is a thing, but it's a battery warming plate, that a plate that sticks underneath your battery, keeps it warm. You guys have any of that type of stuff up there to keep the trucks being able to fire up?
It was a blanket. Usually it was a blanket, but yeah, now it's an oil pan heater or an engine coolant heater. So we still do plug the trucks in from time to time because it's cold. And now we're spoiled. Now everything comes inside for the most part.
Yeah, you guys have a nice shop to park all those rigs in?
Yeah, I finally broke down. I built myself a shop, and it's not big enough. Same thing. And took some time off. Again, from a farmer background and being slightly frugal, it made more sense to park my truck. I still had a crew out, park my truck and build the shop myself. So
how big is the shop?
Everything. We put up a 40 by 80.
And still not big enough.
No, my dream shop is about an 80 by 240.
Oh my God. What are you going to put in that 80 by 240?
Well, if nothing else, we'll have a go-kart track or something cool, but
go-kart track. Is that one of your hobbies? Keep up with who?
Coleman.
Got it.
Coleman, yeah.
So that's one of your hobbies is go-karts?
Oh no, that's just that spray foam.
Got it. What type of challenges do you guys see coming down, or opportunities up there in that Canadian market here in the future for spray foam?
There's lots. There's more. They're building faster than we can keep up with it. Even some of the bigger companies, they're subbing out work because they can't keep up to the demand. So there's lots of room for little guys to grow. And the struggle is, they'll trip over $1 to make a dime, right? They're selling themselves short, selling cheap chemical, and then it breaks and they can't fix it, and then it ends up at the auction or it's up for sale in marketplace. So again, like with lots of new guys, I've tried to, coach them coming into the industry, because again, there wasn't a whole lot of help when I got into it. It was lots of trial and error and break it and build it and late nights and heartache, and that was all it was. Lots of calls to Gord and, hey, it does this. What do I do? And lots of guys have bounced that across his desk. He goes, I should charge for this one. Well, probably, but everybody will find their niche, what they like doing. If it was tanks, sure. There's lots of guys that I only spray tanks. There's a local guy, local sprayer here. I only spray tanks. Well, that's great. 15 years ago, sure, the oil field was busy. There was lots of storage tanks to spray. Now it's getting pretty scarce. Yeah, there isn't a whole lot to do. Pipeline stuff, same thing. Our oil system is kind of not dried up, but it's tamed right down due to some of the stuff going on between Canada and the US and Donnie having his tantrum and whatever, right? If we got our shit together, we'd all make a little money, but whatever. It is what it is, right? Yeah, and some of it's government stuff. And I had guys. We just went through an election last fall.
Mm-hmm.
And it didn't turn out the way we wanted. And guys cried, and I went, we've been under that same flag for the last 10 years, and look at how far we've grown.
Yeah.
All of us are doing very well. We've put on multiple rigs, have multiple staff. We're not hurting, but again, it could always be better. And there's just, again, you have to diversify. You have to find what you like to do and, go do it. If you want to do row housing and do joist ends and cantilevers, great, have at it. If I never saw another set of joist ends again, it would be too soon. This remote northern logistical nightmare stuff I quite enjoy. And nobody wants to go. That's the best one. Is I have very little competition. Lots of the old guys that did it, they've retired now. I've had a few young guys try. Not even young guys. I've had a few young women try. We had a call pretty much as far north as you can go. You're right to the Arctic Ocean. It's on an island. It's fly in, fly out only. They had everything. They had the equipment. They had chemical. They had everything ready to rock and roll. There was something broken. They didn't know how to fix it. They sent this young lady up. I think young. Anyways, sent this lady up. Had zero mechanical aptitude. It was an A-side pump that needed to be rebuilt. Electrical board that was fried. All minor stuff. All the hose was new. So I came and looked and went, okay, well, you need a pump mount. You need a display board. You need a packing kit. This is what you need. I had shipped the machine up just to be on the safe side. I said, well, I have a portable. It's the same machine as yours. We'll send it up. You pay the shipping on it. If we use it, great. It's this much money. If we don't, if I can get yours up and running, away we go. So that's what we did. And it was your typical disaster. There was 2 almost brand new spray foam guns, probably had, 5 sets piece of them in shambles, sitting in solvent, a cardboard box full of O-rings that nobody knew what it was for. So I was waiting for equipment to show up. So I sat at a desk and I rebuilt guns and cleaned parts. So actually went with my own money, didn't charge them anything for it, went and got a parts organizer, organized all their O-rings and labeled it. And, but that, I don't know, tinkering, I like to tinker. So it was right up my alley. Cleaned it all up, labeled it, put everything away, ordered all the parts for their machine. My machine showed up, put everything to work. On TikTok or on one of the apps there, I made a video of, they had tried their best, but it was a bit of a mess to go clean up. They had taken 200 feet of hose and thrown it in the dumpster over $10 in parts. So no, I don't like that. So I disconnected my whip, plugged their hose into my hose, put my whip back on, and put, 8.5 sets of foam through it. Never missed a beat. A few ISO crystals just from sitting, and that's, again, if you've done this long enough, it's just another day in paradise, par for the course.
Yeah.
When we were all done, I flushed all the hose out, cleaned it all up, racked it for them, capped it for them. Well, yeah, we'll never use it. Just if you want it, you take it home. Otherwise, put it back in the dumpster where you got it from. So,
I guess that's coming home with me.
Guess that's coming home with me. Yep. And yeah, it was fully functional hose. It heated properly. It was the connector on the FTS was buggered. We brought it home, rescuffed it, put new ends on it. Through the truck, it's all working.
Till today, right?
Till today, it has missed a beat. Yep.
What do you? I mean, is this a unique situation that you came across, or is this something you've seen a lot in your career where people just F something up and then they just getting in over their heads?
There's another company that I consult for. Is that the right word? Consult for? Yeah. We got brought into their little world from, used to be a chemical rep of ours. He was doing some consulting work for them. They had a concrete lifting job in a pretty remote location. So I kind of said, sure, what do you need from me? Do you want me to send tools or, what can I help with? He goes, no, we need you to come I went, okay, fine. So we drove. They flew us to their yard in Whitehorse, and then we drove from Whitehorse to Inuvik. So that was 25 hours in a pickup truck. There's no hotels, there's no restaurants, there is no nothing. So my helper at the time, so I had
drove with basically a plastic bottle. It sounds like.
yeah, it's 18 hours of gravel road.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. There was one hotel in between. We took fuel with us. We had a big slip tank in the back of the truck. We took essentially a shore power rig. We took an EXP2. Like we had 100 feet of hose on, barrel pumps, and an air compressor. That was it. They had power on site for us. So we were like little kids there. We went to Walmart and got a cooler and sandwich meat and bread and snacks and road trip. Right? And
that is a road trip, man. That is one hell of a road trip.
We had two heads. And then we got halfway up, or a little better than halfway up, and there's a ferry crossing, but the ferry doesn't run at night. So we'd stopped at this hotel restaurant, see if we could get something to eat and a bed. And no, they were sold out. So whatever, we'll just keep pushing north. She goes, well, you're going to get about another half an hour up the road, and that's it. You'll be waiting for the ferry. Mm-hmm. So we pulled over, and we're making sandwiches, and life is pretty good. And my buddy Frank there, he got an apple and a bag of beef jerky that was pretty much gone when we left town. So he's kind of like a straight guy out there sitting in the passenger seat looking for snacks. Like, well, help yourself. There's sandwiches. And, we were prepared. You're in the middle of nowhere, kind of same thing. Flat of water and some pop, and we were kind of set. So that was probably one of the most unique ones. But anyways, in their shops, I've been back a few times, and I spent a little time in their shop, and I was actually having chest pain. It's like, ooh, like it's not yours. Stop that. It's because of the waste. There's a stack of hose, probably 4 feet high, in shambles laying in the corner. There's pumps ripped apart. There's machines sitting in the graveyard, thousands and thousands and thousands of empty drums. And the more I dug into it, the worse it got. And again, what most of us would throw in the dumpster, they were using as full-time rigs. So I spent a lot of time just going through it and servicing it, kind of cleaning it up and going through parts and dumping boxes on the floor. And, the gun is broken. Okay, well, we buy a new one. But don't buy any more guns. You have like 12 Fusion APs, 10 Problers, CS gun. They had every gun known to man, just nobody to rebuild them. I said, better yet, so I went through, I rebuilt all their guns, labeled them, wrote serial numbers down, put them all on the shelf. I said, as they break, you put them in a box, send them down to me. I'll rebuild them, send them back to you. That never happened.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So I've traded them some time for. I actually drove up to Whitehorse, so it's 24 hours to drive up there from Edmonton. Mm-hmm. So I drove up in my truck. I loaded up 2 E30s, an H25, 400 feet of hose, I think 4 T3 pumps, a whole box P2 guns for a week's worth of work. We turned around, brought that E30. I brought one of the E30s over to Gord. Said, "Here, make this new." And Gord does a great job of that. Went through it. We put it in a big job box and turned around and sent it right back to their site to go do a big lifting job for them. We had a 5,000 square foot warehouse that needed 12 inches lift. So that was probably one of my most unique, stressful jobs that really had nothing to do with me. It's like, it's not your money. But I know the dollars that went out to it, right?
Yeah, the anxiety breeds no matter if it's your money or somebody else's money, because I don't think you grew up. I mean, you grew up as a farmer with your family, right? And that generation, I know that your parents probably taught you that you don't just throw stuff away. You fix what's broken. And that's what I get from you, obviously, Lane. I don't know you between, you know, us just having this conversation, but is this is this a mentality like of just these couple companies, like, or is it more that this is not a real job to these people or a real business? I guess I'm trying to figure out where the mindset is of like things that just break and there's just like all the, like, to me, it sounds like this company's bleeding money. Like they're not making money. They're just bleeding it. I don't know. Like, how do they make money?
They charge a lot. So I kind of laughed at them.
Supply and demand, right? Because they're probably the only people within the area because it is so rural.
There's two companies in town. Neither one are any better than the other. Most of it is a lack of knowledge.
Yeah.
The guys that are selling the jobs and running the jobs and so on and so forth, they know enough to be dangerous and sell the job. If you said, hey, go start the rig, they wouldn't know where to look. Mm-hmm. They'd walk right past it and they'd be looking for, a big truck or something. Mm-hmm. They have no knowledge of, how it's supposed to work and how it's supposed to look. And that's not just there. It's, I've seen it in Edmonton. I've seen it down in the States. It's, I've seen some rigs that I wouldn't spray foam out of it, and that's their everyday working rig. It's like, there's no lights, there's no heat, there's no fresh air, it's a pump and barrels, and that's it. We're going to work. My buddy Jeb Stringer, I went down to January. It was cold, so I went down to Texas, went visit Jeb and Mary Stringer.
Did you know that the smartest tool in your truck is not your spray foam gun? It's FoamBid. Yeah, this episode is sponsored by our friends over at FoamBid.co. This app finally makes bidding simple. Forget guessing, forget overbidding, and forget losing out on jobs because you made mistakes. You look sharp, you look ready to win, and you look professional. So go over to FoamBid.co/beta to get access to the new app that's about ready to launch. We'll see you there.
I was the same thing. I was having chest pain in his shop. It's like, you guys do things funny down here. They're pouring ISO into resin barrels. I went, no, you can't do that. He goes, well, like we're filtering it out. I went, no, that's a recipe for disaster. And then he went off on, he was busy because he's still running a company, and it's not, well, it was cold down there, but it's not stopped working cold.
Yep.
So he was out doing estimates. So I'll just stay in the shop. And there was, on his desk, he's got half a dozen guns ripped apart and in various states of disrepair. And I know how to do this. I'll just rebuild guns. Here's all your guns back, fresh and parts organized. And he goes, you're here on vacation. You're not supposed to be working. I know the drill. When you're busy, you don't have that. You don't have that time. But
yeah.
So if you got a guy that knows how to build guns and he's willing to build guns for you, sure, let him build guns. It's a good deal.
So what I'm hearing, Lane, is anybody that's down here in like the southern states, Texas, Florida, Alabama, whatever the case is, if it's winter months, all they have to do is pay for a airfare to bring you down, and you'll rebuild some guns.
Oh God, no problem. Yeah.
If anybody's looking for somebody to rebuild your guns, come December or January, you just hit up Lane and say, hey, let's get you out of Canada, let's get you out of Alberta and get you down here to the warm weather.
You phone Stacy, because Stacy, that'll be like a 2-for-1.
Okay. Yep. Get the wife to come down as well.
Yeah.
Really interesting. I mean, I've never heard, we've had 27 guests on, and I've never heard of the disarray that you've seen up there. And I don't know, I mean, I'm sure it's there in the States. Trust me. I'm not saying this is a Canadian thing or States, but it just seems absurd that people run their companies with just like, oh, that hose is no good. You're like, what's wrong with it? Let me just fix it. And I'm going to take it home with me. Like to me, you're in business to make money. And it sounds like these folks they're just not making it as much as they should. Or could.
No, and I think it's everywhere. Again, I kind of get around a lot, so we've bought a lot of equipment on other people's, not stupidity, but just failures, right? They don't know any better. They don't know how to fix it. And that was when I got into kind of buying equipment. Is the first one I came across was 9 reactors. They had 5 hydraulic HXP3s and 4 EXP2s. It kind of came across my desk, and between Gord and I, it was, hey, you buy it, I'll fix it, we'll flip it, we'll make a little money, you'll get a machine out of the deal, it'll be just, everybody will be happier. I went, okay, fine.
Yeah.
So I took a 30-foot trailer and ended up with a stack of pumps and mixers, and yeah, we're all in various states of disrepair. I think out of 9 units, we salvaged 7. And most of them are still out working today. Most of the hydraulics, I know where they all are. Most of them stayed local. And then, through that, we met people and we've become buddies. And, we got the first hydraulic machine we sold, it went down to southern Saskatchewan to my buddy Cody. And Cody and I still chat. He's busier than a one-legged man in an ass-kicking contest nowadays, so it's hard to get a hold of him. But yeah, we still chat and shoot the shit.
I love it.
Yeah. So again, that's build some relationships in between, right?
Yeah.
And again, just you have to set the standard somewhere, and that's probably doesn't matter here, there, doesn't matter where in the world you are. You have to have a standard way of operating. Again, we're a little more regulated that, we have a code, have a guide to follow that, you must be certified. You must have, the one I liked the best was probably the old BASF days. In Canada, everything is dyed. So all the chemical is dyed. So you know whose product it is, so on and so forth. It's easy identification. So everybody wanted the bright purple spray foam.
Yeah.
Whatever. But so I phoned. I had already been spraying for a couple of years. Everybody wanted this purple shit. I went, yeah, okay, fine. So they came for lunch. They came and interviewed me. They came and inspected my rig. Gave me a list. Here's your homework. This is what you need in your rig before we'll talk to you about spray foam. Okay. And I already had a certification through the same governing body that they ran. They still would not sell me foam till I went to their certification class. So I went 6 hours away, went to their class for 3 days, and just kind of beat your head against the wall, because it's all, if you've been through, a couple of classes and you've been doing this a while, it's a bit repetitive and monotonous, and it's the same shit. So then I was certified through them, had my card with my picture on it. Okay, good. They still would let me spray their chemical till I had a tech come spend the day with me on site.
Okay.
And again, kind of help tweak equipment, and this is where you need to be parameters wise, pressure, chamber size, so on and so forth. And for the most part, I was close, but help you dial the foam in that you were getting optimum yield, right? Mm-hmm. Nowadays, we've kind of gone away from that. That was the only chemical company I've ever had do that before you can spray our stuff, we need to vet that what you're doing. Yeah. We've seen both sides of the border, lots of failures due to, I have a checkbook, I have a spray foam rig, okay, ready to set go. And they show up and it's a disaster. There's a local company, and I threatened to the point where either take my free advice and my free help, or you leave that rig at home. That if I catch it out of the yard, like, I will burn it down. You cannot go make a mess for customers like this. That now somebody has to go back and clean up the mess. And it's not off ratio. It's not on this application. It's just, they're supposed to put in 3 inches of foam. They put in 1.5 inches, some places less. Mm-hmm. So then the customer's got, ice issues and draft issues. And so again, there's, lots of guys to, now especially, there's lots of guys to, phone, pick their brain. Hey, why is it doing this? Hey, could I come spend the day with you? Even now, there's a guy in southern Alberta. I would love to go sit on his job site just to be a fly on the wall. just to watch him spray, because he is just, well, him and his brother both, they're just animals when it comes to spraying. You know, a big day for the average sprayer. Oh, we put out a set of foam today. Yeah, they put out, 4 sets in 8 hours. I went home, get up tomorrow and do it all over again.
Holy crap.
Solo.
Machines.
But, I went like, no, you're full of shit.
Oh, okay.
I talked to other guys and go, I've personally watched him do it. I would like to be that guy to personally watch him do it. They run, beautiful trucks that are immaculate for the most part. I don't know if you caught clips of, like my wife put on the NAFA trade show here in Calgary. So there was a video. There are 2 big tandem spray foam trucks, and they're pimped right out. Nothing over the top, but they look the part, right? Yeah. But they do big volume jobs, and they'll do anything. They'll do coatings, they'll do residential, they'll do ag, they'll do industrial. They're not too terribly fussy. If that truck will get there, they'll go spray it. But they are very, very efficient, and they're good at what they do.
Wow. Speaking of regulation, I know you touched on it briefly, Lane. Obviously, the states we don't have anything going on down here. We have a whole bunch of contractors that seem to feel like there needs to be some regulations. And you're our 3rd Canadian guest. I know when we talked with Kurt Jensen and then Trevor Cochran, you guys, you mentioned it. You guys have some hoops that you guys have to jump through in order to spray up there in Canada, where we don't have anything. I always think it's crazy that I've never sprayed a job in my life, nor do I know anything about spraying except for having conversations with guys like yourself. But I could go buy a spray foam rig tomorrow and have a business down here. Do you think that the system that you guys have set up in Canada is working? And do you think that it would be something that the states should look at, setting up for down here as well, or something similar?
Absolutely. I think there has to be some regulation to it. And there's guys that'll squeal about it, but again, you have to have some kind of guidance. Otherwise, we've seen the failures on Spray Foam Worldwide or Spray Foam Canada of the untrained. They don't know any better. I would like to see it like the Canadian one. It's a 3-day course, and make sure you have insurance, and it's the very, very basic. I would like to see further follow up, further regulation. A tech day. So like the chemical we use Genic foam. So Sean Gauthier, everybody knows who Sean Gauthier is. He's been in my rig. He's come, and it's him and I kind of banter back and forth. If I was brand new day one, Sean would be an excellent asset. Now it's we just tease each other, but and it's not contractors, it's chemical suppliers that I would like to hold accountable. It's get past it's a checkbook. It's your name. You want to keep a good name. Lots of guys go, we're not in the business of applying it. We're in the business of selling it, but it's still your name attached to that product. So if you sell to Joe Blow, he goes in and, blast 12 inches of half pound into grandma's attic, and it's off ratio. And now, it makes grandma sick or worse. Then what? When they go back, especially here, because we have a color to it, it's coming back to you that, how did this contractor get this chemical? Where's their training? Where was your follow-up for a new contractor? Even here, we've had our failures and struggles, and we have something in place. The SPFA big event to go get certified or go get your master's certification. Is a great start. But I think we need more because, again, the guys that have been doing this for a long time, they've seen the failures. You have guys like, Rusty Schrader who will go and help and teach. And, Chaz he'll be back at her stronger than ever here soon enough.
Heck yeah,
there's lots of great guys to lean on. And again, my old cantankerous self. So there's lots that comes across, spray foam worldwide. And it's like, okay, well, you only gave us, a taste of what's going on. What chemical are you spraying? What machine are you spraying? Pressures, temperatures, gun, it all matters. And most of us could walk you through it on the phone. My staff, they laugh at me that, how do you do that? Like we fought with this for, 45 minutes. You came in 5 minutes later and it's fixed and it's back working again. It's just, I know what I'm looking for and I know how to fix it. Biggest one is phone. I'll walk you through how to fix it, how to run it, how to, most of it I walk through over the phone, right? And again, that's lots of trial and error and learning. There's great stuff out there everywhere. One of my favorites, the best one I ever learned was from Dave George, if you know Big Dave, and his gun testing kit, or his guns testing method. He goes, you have a clean gun, there's no chemical in it, there's no nothing. He says, put air to it. If it blows the check valves out, you have a leak. If it's pushing 100 pounds of air pressure back out the check valves, it will not hold 1,000 pounds of chemical pressure going the other way. You have something leaking, a scratch, a bad O-ring, something. We've used that, since he put it up the first time. So there's lots of resources, and the ignorance is the part that makes me grumpy now in my old age is, well, I didn't know any better. Well, you didn't try to know any better. Try to educate yourself. Try to be the best. It doesn't matter what job it is, what industry it is, whether you're a ballerina or a professional football player or a professional spray foamer. It's be the best. If you want to be somebody in this industry, be the best. And I'm not saying I'm the best, but I try damn well hard to be.
Yeah, you strive to be.
Yeah. There used to be a governing body, and they're still here a little bit, but they're not as big as they were. So we used to have Kafka once upon a time, and they had a way stronger system previously. Lots of education, lots of documentation. It used to be a lot back in the day, and then I don't know. It was kind of right when I was getting into the industry, they were phasing out. Nobody wanted to play with them anymore. Part of it was they were charging for every set of chemical, you paid a royalty to Kafka.
Okay.
Plus your membership. So finally guys got tired of the bullshit, and there was other governing bodies, but still today, there's documentation out from 20 years ago.
Yeah.
But it's, stuff that I bid, it's got this write up from Kafka. I went, yeah, that's 20 years old, but it's still out there in circulation. And yeah, they were just, they governed themselves, governed their, installers a lot better. We were putting out better product, and we had better training. And, if you needed something for a, general contractor, for a builder, they had a whole library full of documentation. You could go open up and pull what you needed, right? Today it's, our phones have most of that technology on them. Flip your phone open, Google. Most of it's pretty simple, right? Now we've got, ChatGPT, and again, social media is huge, right? We learned lots on Facebook, we learned lots on Instagram, TikTok. There's lots. So yes, do I think we need more in Canada? Absolutely. More apprenticeship, more coaching. I've had guys that, I'm going to buy a foam rig. Come work with me for 2 days. Come when it's 30, what would that be? Come when it's 90 degrees out. Come jump in a suit and throw on a mask and come spray foam at 90 degrees and see how much you enjoy it. I said that to guys from Florida. They kind of laughed me out of the park. Well, that's just, that's a Monday. Come dabble in it. There's enough guys to go work for, and we won't judge you. We'd prefer if you came and try it and saw, this is bullshit, versus go drop 140 grand on a rig and go make a mess of somebody's house, and then it's lined up at Rich Brothers, or it's sitting back at Ben's yard at Polysource or wherever, right?
Facebook Marketplace, and then here comes Lane to himself a deal.
There's a few of them,
I'm curious. Have you seen the regulation help kind of keep give some form of friction to prevent guys like myself just kind of coming in the industry up there? Do you think that helps? I mean, there is some friction there, but not obviously enough.
Einstein would have loved this app. He cracked the code of relativity, but even he hated paper. This episode of the Foam to Fortune podcast is sponsored by FoamBid, the app that takes pen and paper out of the equation. No more crumpled notes, no more late night spreadsheets, no more guessing if you're too high or if you're too low. With FoamBid, you create professional, accurate bids right there on the job site, and they're instant and stress-free. Sign up now to get early access to the beta app at foambid.co/beta.
It actually went the other way. It kind of got greased, and yeah, there's less friction getting into it now than there was before.
Interesting. I've heard you probably mention Gord's name 20 times on here, and I feel like it's appropriate for me to ask you if you hadn't have found Gord. I mean, because it sounds like 2011 is when you came across him to help you with that rig that you got down in Texas that was absolutely junk. It sounds. If you hadn't came across him, do you think that you would have been as successful? Would you figure this out, or has it just made the road a little bit smoother for you?
It paved the road. Yeah, we would have bounced down the back roads to figure it out, because we do have some other rig builders and companies and so on and so forth. But he was close, and it kind of all worked out.
Yeah.
So yeah, it made that transition a lot smoother. Don't get me wrong; it was still bumpy, but it made it a lot better. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, and it sounds like your mechanical knowledge that you have from growing up on the farm and then working in the oil fields, man, that knowledge has made you, number one, so much more valuable to your spray foam company, but also allows you to be able to make your buck or two on the side with somebody else's quote unquote junk you're picking up and being able to repair it and sell it, or use it for yourself.
Right. It's not so much mechanical. It's just willingness to tinker. It's not some bolts. Some asshole put it together. I could be the asshole pull it apart. And as long as you kind of pay attention, I can put it all back together again. For the most part, there's really nothing overly scary on it. Electronics are a bit of a nightmare, but the basic operation, hydraulic, electric, air-powered machines, they're all nuts and bolts.
Yeah.
Kind of half-ass pay attention, have a clean surface to play on for the most part. I've built more spray foam guns on the back of a tailgate than I have on a workbench. So, again, just don't be scared of it.
Mm-hmm.
Maintenance is everything. When's the last time you checked your wise trainers? When's the last time you changed the TSL fluid? When's the last time you checked the screens in your gun? Do you run screens in your gun? Just, little things that'll make life way better. Do I grease this? No, don't grease that.
Yeah.
Graco's famous for that. Well, we'll put grease nipples on a hydraulic machine. Oh yeah, go put grease in that. See what happens. You blow the fucking packings out of it, and that's it. You're sitting on the shop floor waiting for packings.
Yeah.
Find that guy and kick him right in the. Anyways. But yeah, it's everybody's scared of, what happens if I do this? Well, it's already fucking broken. What else are you gonna do, right?
Yeah, you're gonna break it more.
You got nothing to lose. On a Friday night, all the supply places are closed. There's lots of guys that are remote enough that they can't go get supplies overnight. We're half an hour away. Howard Martin, we buy lots of parts from Howard Martin. Most of our parts from Howard Martin. Mike laughs at me because I'm getting lazy in my old age. I'll phone Uber. Hey, Mike, I got an Uber coming. Throw this in a box. Throw it to Uber. What?
Like, well, I just want to sit here and drink a beer and watch some TV. Get the parts here in my house. I don't want to go drive there, right?
No, it's usually I'm elbows deep in something in the shop, and I need parts. I need them right away. That's easy. I don't have that hour and a half to kill to drive to the city and back. Yeah. I'll keep working on what I'm working on, and when Uber shows up, I'm great. So
Working smarter, not harder. It sounds like, Lane.
We try.
A couple fun questions that I just decided to throw back into the show. Back a couple years ago, back at SPFA in Vegas, we were asking spray foamers some fun questions, and one of them that made people laugh was if the foam that you spray could smell like something, what would you like it to smell like? I know you guys are masked up, you guys got all the safety gear on, but if it could smell like something, what would you prefer it to smell like?
Well, we laughed about that earlier. Not lavender. That joke was already put out as years ago. There was a label that had a lavender foam, and you crack the barrel and it was rancid. Like you open the rig and crack a barrel open, it was just nasty. Another guy goes, "Oh, I love that smell of it. It smells like a strip club on a Saturday night. Like it's dirty stripper hoo-ha." It was nasty.
What are you covering up, right?
Yeah.
What do they say?
Something cool would be like I don't know, bubble gum or cherry coke or something fun. Color. Yeah. I would like color. Nobody will blend me my own color. Yeah, I would like candy apple red or blood red.
There we go.
Spraying a house and you get people looking through the poly there at you. And you kind of smear a big red smear on the side. Wouldn't that get everybody's attention?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I know that obviously you guys have the colors with the foam up there. You said you guys spray Genek, which is the Hulk juice, right? Yeah. So I mean, on that topic, if it's red, you got to go with some form of name that talks, that really magnifies that. Do you have a name of the blood red foam that you would brand?
Oh, it'd be the Jessica Rabbit foam.
Jessica Rabbit.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, Jessica. That's funny, man.
She'd be the mascot.
Yeah, of course. I mean, if a cartoon could be sexy, that's Jessica for sure. So
exactly. For us guys who actually know what it is.
Yeah. These youngsters are going to tune in and they're like, what are these guys even talking about? Just go Google Roger Rabbit and you guys will see Jessica. So, famous monuments. If you could spray one, doesn't matter if it's in Canada or the States. Is there a monument that you'd love to spray?
Okay, well, I thought about that when we were talking earlier. It's not really a monument, but it's a pretty unique one. Yeah. So there's a military base at the northeastern tip of Canada. It's the most northern inhabited place in the world. Mm-hmm. I was actually supposed to go there in August, and with everything going on with Donnie and the Iranians, it got postponed. But just there was no money in it. But mostly to say that I've been to the most northern inhabited place in the world. Yeah, it's kind of you get to fly on a C-130 Herc. You get to go to Greenland. More just for the the fun of it. But you have to go up and make it a better. It's probably the most extreme weather in the world. In August, I think the high was like 33 degrees Fahrenheit. High in August. It's about as warm as it gets.
Oh my God.
But to go up and make that, because it's military from all over the world that go there to train. Okay. If we go up there and make it better for the armed forces, I'm all about it. It's not about the money for me. It's one for the adventure, and two to make it better for them. They're out busting their ass. So
yeah,
but yeah, it's on my list. It's I'm hoping I'll get there maybe next year.
Yeah. So what was the project you were supposed to go up there and do? Did they just delay it?
It's an ongoing project, but yeah, some of it's the barricades, the barracks.
Okay.
Taking the old fiberglass out and spray foaming it. Some workshops and some research labs, and there's a little bit of everything going on up there. So when I talk to the guys that have the contract, I said, is it so many sets of foam or square feet, or like, what are we doing? He goes, you might go up there for 2 weeks and sit and do nothing, twiddle your thumbs. Well, that's really not my cup of tea. I'm not that ambitious, but I'm up there. We want to get a couple sets of foam out a day, and we're trying to get square footage done. Yeah, make this happen. Everybody makes money if there's foam going out the hose. So, But yeah, that would be kind of top of the list for me right now.
Yeah,
and
say,
oh, I want to go spray the Empire State Building, or I want to go spray, the CN Tower or something, Space Needle. But, no, that does excite me. That's somebody else could go do that. This one would be way more interesting. Just one, because of what the building is, and two, the location.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I mean, the location, obviously, like, just to say that you've been there, the 33 degrees as the high, I don't know, man. That sounds like a little bit too much parka weather for me, but
my joke is I can dress up for the cold. I can only dress down so far for hot, and then they start to point and laugh. So
well, let's not get him down to any of the hot weather. You guys will be laughing at Lane. Sweating down there in Florida. Don't get Lane on a job site in Florida.
No, Mark Gordos, don't phone me. I'm not coming to. Maybe in January.
Yeah, exactly. Get him down there when it's quote unquote the hot weather, or the cold weather, where it's like 60, and everybody's bundled up. I'd lived in Tampa, in Mark's neck of the woods for a couple years, and I remember I'd fly to the Pacific Northwest back here to Portland and just be absolutely frozen. I'd be looking like something's wrong with me in a sweatshirt and pants and stuff, and it's 60 degrees and everybody's in tank tops and shorts. So the blood thinned out, So, Lane, it's been a pleasure getting to chat with you. It sounds like the consistent thing with everybody that I met from the spray foam world is that you guys everybody seems to have just a heart of gold. Everybody wants to help each other. Everybody wants to see people succeed. And it sounds like, yourself, you're no different than the rest of the guys that just want to help people and make sure that everybody's spraying good foam. So, if somebody wants to connect with you, it doesn't matter if they're down here in the States or Canada, what's the best way for them to touch base with you and reach out?
I'm everywhere. Instagram, Facebook, hit me on Messenger. Usually I'll answer. Whether it's work related or, just something to bullshit with. Ask lots of the guys on here. I'll phone and bullshit with them. And I don't know, some of you guys saw some of the videos of like our NAFA show. We had Ron Fetzer and Joe Borowski come up. We took them on a 4-day adventure through Canada and had lots of fun. And we had our big cardboard cutout of Chaz, and we just had lots of fun with it, right? It's not so much shop anymore. It's just have a few beers and shoot shit, and it's just a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's amazing to see that camaraderie, because there's people even in their backyards that are friendly with each other, and it sounds like the same with you. You're like talking about these guys that have this beautiful set of rigs, and they're in South Alberta. It's like, to me, that sounds like competition. To you, you're like, there's enough to go around. Like, I got so much work. I don't. Who cares, right? So. Heart of gold, it sounds like, Lane. I truly appreciate you coming on the Foam to Fortune, and it's been a pleasure.
It's been a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. Enjoy your evening.
You as well, Spencer.
Thanks.